Welcome to Alberta Health Services educational video entitled Privacy and IT Security and Compliance. And with a title like that, you know it's going to be informative and educational. Within Alberta Health Services, we are all responsible for respecting the confidentiality and privacy of our patients, co-workers, the public, and AHS business information. We also protect the integrity of our information systems. And when I say we, I mean you, because after all, I'm just an actor. With the assistance of the Alberta Health Services players, we will present a variety of privacy and IT security and compliance scenarios. Fortunately, we have something more than our conscience to guide us. There's the Alberta Health Services Code of Conduct, our information management policies, the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, and the good old Health Information Act. Privacy is the right of individuals to determine when, how, and the extent to which their health and personal information is shared with others, which means we're all on a need-to-know basis. Whether you're an emergency doctor, a paramedic, or a maintenance person, we're all expected to observe the highest standards of privacy and confidentiality. So what does that mean in everyday life? Let's find out from the Alberta Health Services players.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, hey, Betty.
Was that Mrs. Shovelday you took away in an ambulance? What's up with her?
Why does Betty want to know? She doesn't really talk to Mrs. Shovelday, and I'm not sure they even know each other all that well. That makes me a little uncomfortable, especially standing here talking to myself.
I'm sorry, Betty. I can't discuss it.
Despite Betty's concern, Steve did the right thing. Respecting privacy and confidentiality means not engaging in public discussions or comments about confidential information. See if you can spot the subtle differences presented in the next scenario.
Hey, guys. Do you mind if I just squeeze in there and use your workstation? I want to look up Mrs. Shovelday's test results.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Use my chair.
Coffee?
Oh, thanks. All right. And while I'm at it, I'll just look up my own blood work. I get a little condition.
Excuse me?
That is not how patients look up their information.
But 2 seconds ago...
2 seconds ago, you were a healthcare provider. Now you're a patient. You're going to have to contact your own healthcare provider.
But...
And coffee is for staff.
So in case you missed the subtlety, AHS employees wear two hats. As a worker, you have access to only the information needed to do your job. As a patient, or someone who knows a patient, you will access information as any other patient would by going through all the proper channels. On to our next scenario. You're an HR administrator and you need to make room for some files. So you purge some old personnel files that are no longer needed. Just remember that all confidential and sensitive information must be retained and disposed of in an approved, secure manner.
Jumpin' Jillikers, what a scoop.
The friendly staff in records management can assist with retention and disposal of information. Now, just suppose for a moment that you had an unfortunate accident and you ended up being admitted to the facility where you work. As a patient, which would best respect your privacy? A. Only employees with a need to know and who are involved in your treatment and care can access your health information. B. Your health information is not a topic of idle conversation.
Oh, my God. Believe it.
Or C. Your health information will be protected from the prying eyes of others. Yes, they're all right. Only someone with the scruples of a tabloid journalist would disrespect your privacy. Keep that in mind if something ever happens to a colleague. Suppose you're a staff nurse in a public part of the hospital. A colleague approaches you.
Steve, I need to talk to you about a patient. One of your patients?
Oh.
In this scenario, maybe it's okay to discuss the patient in public, provided you only use the patient's first name.
Madonna.
Or perhaps if you speak very quietly.
What do you want to know?
I need to order her medication. do know her condition, don't you?
But the right approach in a situation like this is,
You know, I'd be a lot more comfortable talking about something like this in private.
sometimes we might be faced with an uncomfortable situation, like this one.
I don't care if the whole clinic can hear me. I want those records. I want them now, and I'm not leaving till I get them.
Well, the easiest approach might be to just give in and hand them the records. That wouldn't be the right choice. We should never give in to pressure, no matter how insistent.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but I can't give you your ex-wife's charts without her consent.
Perfect. Suppose you found out a Hollywood star filming in the area just happened to be admitted to your facility for an undisclosed ailment, and you really wanted to tell your friends about it. What might be the best course of action? Post the information on your social networking page? Write about it on your blog?
OMG. Guess who's in my hospital?
Access the movie star's electronic record and print the juicy details as long as no one sees you? The right answer is to do nothing. Protect the celebrity's right to privacy just as you would anyone else's, no matter how juicy the details. Protect all patient information as if it were your own. We hope you're starting to get the idea of what it means to protect people's privacy. Here's a scenario that could be a little sensitive. If you had access to the information, which of the following could you tell relatives or close personal friends of the patient without their consent? A, the fact that they're in the hospital and their location. B, the medication that they're taking. C, their present condition. D, their progress and prognosis. Or E, information about previous medical treatment. The answer is A, C, and D. If asked, you can tell people that someone they know is in the hospital. You can tell them how they're doing. You can tell them, in general terms, the progress and prognosis on the day they ask. Beyond that, you need patient consent. The exception to this rule is illustrated in our next scene.
Hi, I'd like to know how Charles Jones is doing.
Are you family or a close friend?
I'm his sister.
Is that Agnes? Don't you tell her nothing. The only time that witch comes to see me is if she thinks I'm going to croak.
I'm sorry. I don't believe I have your brother's consent to share that information. You'll have to talk to him yourself.
So while there is certain information you can disclose, your lip zips if the patient says no. You may also come across a situation like this.
I'm looking for information on a patient who was admitted yesterday. Juicy bad apple.
Do you have his consent?
No,
Do you have a valid court order or subpoena?
not exactly.
Was he admitted for the treatment of a gunshot or a stab wound?
No, he broke his ankle skydiving.
Does he pose an imminent danger to anyone?
Not unless he can hop.
Does the info relate to the commission of an offense? And by disclosing this information, will the safety of Albertans be protected?
You know, it would appear that I also don't have a leg to stand on.
The information we collect is for the treatment of our patients, and they'll be happy to know it's protected from unauthorized disclosure by Alberta's Health Information Act. Here's something else the Health Information Act asks of us: to collect the least amount of patient information needed to do our jobs.
Name?
Maggie Chevelday,
Age?
34.
Some of us, such as those directly involved in the treatment and care of a patient, need more information than others.
Date of admittance?
July 7th. Excuse me, I already gave all this information. Are you the surgeon?
Oh, no. I'm just here to change the light bulb. Last bowel movement?
And some of us, thankfully, need less. This is important when sharing information with other departments or healthcare providers. Roles and responsibilities limit the amount of information we need to use. When disclosing information, give the least amount of information possible, not the entire patient record. The same goes for information requests. Only ask for the information you need to do your job, not information that's nice to know. The information we collect, we must protect. And we must always protect the privacy of those in our care. For some of you, most of what we cover today might mean absolutely nothing. Or does it? Even if you never touch a hospital record, you could still overhear a conversation about a patient. You might observe a sensitive situation, or you might still be curious about someone you know. Respect their privacy. You may also have access to personnel files or organizational information. If you're ever unsure, you can ask your privacy office. Well, that covers privacy, and we're over halfway through, which brings us to IT security and compliance. In our world of information interconnectivity, it becomes increasingly important to safeguard the information the way you might safeguard the contents of your own home. It's everyone's responsibility, but not to worry. We'll teach you how to be a wall of security. So without further ado, I return you to the capable hands of the Alberta Health Services players. Carl's new to the lab and needs to choose a new password for his workstation. He wants to choose a password that's easy for him to remember.
Spunky.
Now here's where Carl becomes a potential security risk to the system. Because Carl used a desktop reminder for his password, he's created an unauthorized entry point. Carl's login will be some form of his name, so it's pretty easy to figure out. And because Carl's password was even easier to guess, the security breach is complete.
Bingo.
Way to go, Carl. Once inside the system, the intruder can access any health information Carl can. She could launch a virus into the system. She could send inappropriate email using Carl's account. You're a bad person. I don't know how you sleep at night. Now let's give Carl a chance to redeem himself.
Hi. Who are you?
Oh, I'm the new IT tech from South Central Regional Office.
Oh, where's your ID?
Oh, some screw up. It's coming, it's coming. Hey, what's your password for the patient care information system?
Oh, it's Loverboy.
Right.
Instead of looking at all the things that Carl did wrong, let's look at what he did right. Well, he did use a coaster for the coffee, but that's about it. Never give someone access to your computer unless they have proper credentials. Never share your password, not with your best friend since childhood, your spouse, and certainly not a person without ID. If it looks suspicious, report it.
I'm reporting you to the IT service desk.
Don't worry, I'm almost done.
You are a critical link in the security of our information system. It isn't tattling to report suspicious activity. In fact, it's your responsibility. In our next scenario, technology can be our friend, but it can also be a security risk.
Could you email my test results to my personal email address?
Without encryption? No, I don't think we can do that. But how about we make an appointment with your physician so that you can get your test results? Email.
Email without encryption is not a secure way to send information outside of Alberta Health Services. Using email is like sending a postcard through the regular mail. Contact IT Security and Compliance for more information on how to ensure that your email is encrypted. When it comes to moving laptop computers, mobile computing devices, and other confidential information to and from the workplace, certain safety precautions must be followed.
Excuse me. Could I have a mucho half-calf double skim non-fat soy latte in a dented cup, please?
Always transport records or equipment containing confidential information securely. Keep items with you at all times, or place them in the trunk.
Hello, IT service desk.
Hi, it's Bob. My computer got stolen again.
Was it password protected and encrypted in accordance with AHS standards?
Yes.
Okay. Was the laptop clearly identified as AHS property with a return address?
Yes.
Was any patient information stored on said computer?
No.
Excellent. You followed proper AHS security standards.
Good. So we're good then?
Other than the fact that you lost another Alberta Health Services computer? Sure. We're good, Bob.
Thanks.
Transmitting information by fax can present a security risk. If you must fax, always send the least amount of information and follow AHS policy regarding requirements when faxing information.
Well, Maggie Shovelday, I don't know why your test results are being sent here, but you need a funeral director, not a doctor. Hey guys, you gotta see this.
Regarding email, it might be fun to receive the occasional joke to bring a chuckle to your hectic day. But just remember, Alberta Health Services resources are for job-related functions only. Email is not private, and anything you receive or send becomes a record that could come back to haunt you.
You're disgusting.
We also expect that you use IT resources, including the internet, appropriately. Your work resources are provided to perform your job functions. Abusing IT resources may result in removing your ability to use the internet or deletion of your email account. An untidy desk may be the sign of a creative mind, but it's also the sign of potential information security risk. Store all confidential information securely. Protecting information means managing risks that information can be lost, stolen, or misplaced. One final message. A malicious virus could bring down the entire system. If someone wants to connect, make sure that they...
Hey, wait, I got it. Excuse me, has that been scanned for threats, and does it have up-to-date virus protection?
The USB was scanned with Eliminator Antivirus Pro version 7.5.9. It's set to block all scripts and check incoming and outgoing email automatically for viruses, Trojan horses, and worms.
Yeah, that's cool.
Remember, only save confidential information to mobile storage devices if there is a business need, and save the least amount of information required. Maybe some of these scenarios don't apply to your particular position. Maybe none of them do. At the very least, you now have the tools to be a wall of security, just like Carl, but better than Carl. We hope this presentation has helped you better understand the important responsibilities we all have when it comes to IT security, compliance, and information privacy. And when I say we, I mean the good people from Alberta Health Services who hired us because, after all, we're just actors. But we could be patients one day, and we'll be counting on you.